What is going on, guys? Jaren here from Toronto Games, bringing you guys something a little different that you don't normally see on this channel. I was streaming the other day and I was like, you know what? I do a lot of overlays for my channel. You know, you guys see the League of Legends overlay. You know, it looks kind of nice. You got our league scene over here. You got our Twitch chat below, that kind of thing. And then we just made our Pokemon scene, so this is pretty nice. I think this is kind of cool. I got a lot of help with my viewers. They were sending me some image ideas and everything. But I need to do another overlay, and this is going to be for my iPad/mobile game overlay, and I thought, what better thing to do than make a video on how to do an overlay. So that's what we're going to do here today, guys. So first thing we need to do is got to get that Photoshop, PS Photoshop CS6. That's what we're using. So you're going to have a screen like this, and your finished copy is going to look something like this. One of these two. These are what we've just recently done. This is something that I was working on earlier, but I decided to pitch that idea. So, step one, guys. What we gotta do, File, New. Now, you want to set your image on Photoshop to the way your what your resolution is on your computer. Right now I'm using 1600 by 900. Most people will use 1280 by 720 or 1080, or what is it, 1280 by 720, something like that, or 1980 by 1020. I don't have a freaking clue. Anyways, whatever your resolution is on your computer, if you go to your computer here and you click on display settings and you go to advanced display settings and you look here, there's all these different ones. So 1280 by 720, 1600 by 900, and then I know that some of the newer monitors, there's like 1980 by 1024 or something like that, something on the lines of that. Anyways, enough about resolutions. That's how you find out what resolution your computer screen is, the one that usually says recommended. And then when you're making Photoshop, you want to create your new project with those dimensions in pixels, guys, not inches, centimeters, millimeters, points, picas, or columns, but in pixels. And transparent background, that's very important when we're doing an overlay, guys. It's normally set to white. You want to go here and change it to transparent and click OK. I'm going to delete this one because it's exactly what we've done. So there, you have a transparent background, layer 1 over here on the right side. Everything's looking good. So now what we need to do is we need to look for an image. 1920 by 1080, that's what it is. My Twitch chat is helping me out here. So now we have to find an image that we want to use as kind of the background for the entire overlay. So I'm going to go find a picture. I actually didn't get prepared for this, so I'm going to go on Google, look up a picture. That's all I do, guys. I go onto the beautiful Google. This is YouTube. This ain't Google. I just go to Google. I spelled Google wrong. Don't worry about it. And then we start like looking for pictures. I could always go to like epic backgrounds, look that up, go to images. And then there's all kinds of stuff you can choose from. Everything you ever could imagine is here. So I'm going to find something interesting. I got to use this for my mobile overlay for my stream. So it's not like I'm just making something on just for this video. It's actually specifically for my stream, but you guys get to enjoy watching it too. So I will be right back. Alright, guys, so I found a cool little picture. It didn't take me long to find at all. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a second layer. So new layer. You don't have to mess around with any of these settings, so click OK. And now, instead of opening up the image, because when you open a file in Photoshop, it actually will, I'll show you what it does. It just opens another one of these tabs up here. That's not what we want. We want to actually place the image. So click on Place, go to where you saved your photos. Mine is in my Photos bin here, and I have Space Picture 3. Now you can see there's a tiny little bit of the transparency in it, so just pull it up. There you go, and click on Enter. And that's the display, that's the image that we're going to work with here now, guys. So when you do an overlay, you want to have a webcam border. If you're a webcam, if you're like a cam streamer or cam YouTuber. If not, you don't have to have that. And then you want to have a border for your game that you're going to put in the screen. I also have a border for my social media slideshow that kind of will always repeat throughout the day. I'll show you guys what I mean right, not there, right here. Below there's the social media, it says follow us on Twitter. In a couple seconds it will switch to the next slide. So that is also a box that I use in my overlays. So let's go back to our creative overlay here. So how do we do this? Very simple, guys, very, very simple. First thing you want to do though is right click on the new overlay that on the new layer we just made. You're going to want to rasterize this layer. This allows us to edit it and everything. If you don't click on that button, guys, warning, if you don't click on that button, it won't allow you to delete any part of the picture, which is what we need to do. So first things first, let's make a box. let's make a little rectangle. Very simple to do, guys. Click on this rectangle box here, rectangle tool, I should say, and then you just want to kind of, you know, make a little rectangle. Now, what is very important here before you do this is you want to have no fill. That's very important. No fill on your box, and then your stroke. I use a gradient for my stroke. You can pick any color of gradient you want. I'm gonna edit that later on, so it doesn't really matter to me. And 5 point, you can change it depending on how thick of the box border you want. So I'm just gonna leave it at 5. And now what I'm gonna do is click on this keep aspect ratio, link shape, width, and height. So that's gonna make it so that the, I'm a total liar. That doesn't work right now. That's after we make the box. So anyways, you're just gonna click here anywhere you want. If I want my webcam over here on the right, then I'm gonna make a box over here. But I normally have them on the left. At least I did for my mobile platforms, as you can see with Pokemon and League. One's on the left, one's on the right. So whatever you're feeling like. I'm gonna have my mobile one on the left. So click on this. We're gonna click up here, drag. That looks about right for a webcam border. So I'm gonna click on that, and boom, you got yourself a box. Now, one thing we have to do now is click on the space picture that we've already rasterized. Click on this outlining tool, click the box, get all inside the box, and then click Control X, or you can also click on Edit and Cut. But I click on Control X, and there you have it. Once you see this checkerboard image that that's in front of our eyes right there, that means that anything that you put over top of this is actually going to look as it's a part of the picture. And what I mean by that, guys, is if we go to Pokemon here, and I have my webcam over my overlay, then you can see that it covers up stuff, right? Now, if I put my webcam behind the overlay, it's literally because of the transparency that we have here. That's how it works, guys. Really, really cool, eh? So that is how that works. So we have that box. Now, what we're gonna do, very important, guys, name your items, or name your layers. I'm gonna call this webcam border. And I don't know how to spell. That's okay. I'll learn how to spell when I go into like elementary school or something. So that's our webcam border. Now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna liven it up a little bit. We're gonna right click on it, go to blending options, and now we're gonna move this over here so you guys can see what we're doing. We're gonna give it a stroke, kind of, as you can see, it like made it a little more in your face, kind of popped out for you. And then we're gonna give it a gradient overlay. Now the coloring is entirely up to you guys. It doesn't matter what the color of the box is. If you like the color of the box, great. I'm gonna play around with it. So what we do is we double click on gradient overlay, double click on this one, this little thing right here. It opens up this, and now we can play around with the gradient. So I'm gonna click on these two little arrows here, double click on them. It'll open up your color wheel, and this will be changing the bottom half of the box. You can pick any color you want, and another cool thing is you can actually take a color from anywhere. You can just go click on the earth, gives you a little bit of a color. You can click on the black, you can click on the white, you can click on the purple down here, and that's kind of how I make my boxes, because this image that we're using, it has its own color palette, and I don't want to change the color palette too much. So I'm gonna actually play around and see what kind of color I want to have here, and I think I'm gonna go with like that blue. What do you guys think? Probably pretty good, right? So there's the blue, and that kind of, as you guys can see, it's part of the color palette, it's part of the picture. So that's how I work with it. Now we got to change the top of it, and we can take black, we can take the purple, we can take, we can go down here, right? It doesn't really matter too much. So I'm gonna play around till I see something that kind of just catches my eye. And I think I'm just gonna go with blue. I'm just gonna take blue on blue, maybe a little darker blue for the top, maybe a little lighter over here. Let's see what this looks like. If we take the white, if we take the purple, it all doesn't really matter, guys. It's all your preference. So play around with it, choose the color you like. I'm just gonna keep playing. I'm gonna go with that. That looks good. And voila, we have our first box on our overlay. That's gonna be our webcam. Now, what I always do for my overlays, and choose to do this if you would like to, guys, is I put my username, Toronto Games Official, that's my Twitch username, underneath my webcam, so when someone comes into the stream, they'll know who I am, even though my stream tells you who I am. So you click on the text tool right here, Just click anywhere on the screen, and I'm going to type Toronto Games Official. And you guys might be like, where the heck is it? I can't see it. It's there, don't you worry. Click on enter. Now we have this text layer right here. We're going to Control T, which is selecting that layer. We're going to click on this button up here. This is going to maintain the aspect ratio, which is going to keep that from looking stretched or distorted or any kind of things like that. And note, guys, for anyone who's watching this tutorial, I have never really learned much about Photoshop just throughout my last couple of years of playing around with it with my stream and that. So if I say anything that's incorrect, let me know in the comment section below. But I feel like I got a good grasp. I've watched a lot of tutorial videos, guys. I've watched a lot. So I'm going to click on the aspect ratio tool. I'm going to pull it a little bit, and I'm going to try and like center it in, pull it a little bit more. And then I'm just going to use the arrow keys to kind of just move it around where I want. And there we go. Now you guys might be like, Jaren, I still can't read it. Don't worry. This is where blending comes into play. So right click on your text file, click on blending options, go to the stroke, and then you see how it kind of popped again. Click on your gradient overlay, and you can almost already see that the shape in the picture is coming in. Now this is just like how we made a box. We're going to click on the gradient tool here, and we're going to click on the double bottom, or the double arrow here, and now we can just play around with it. So because the bottom of the Toronto Games official text is in the dark area of the picture, we're going to want a little bit of a lighter color. So as obviously you can see now, it like just shines right in your face with the white, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a blue. Let's see, we needed to have it a little bit lighter. So as again, I'm using the color palette that this gives me. That looks all right, so I'm going to click OK. And then we can actually make this a little darker. Any color you want, really, guys. I'm probably going to go with something, maybe something like, let's play around with it. Something like that. A lot of blue in it, but it really pops. It shows you guys where it is, and that looks pretty good to me. Hopefully you guys think so as well. So that's it, guys. That's your webcam border. That's where this is going to be. I'll show you through here. Basically, my webcam is going to be here, just like something like that. How does that look? Not too bad, eh? So I'll move my camera back down here and put it over there so I'm not covering up the screen. So now we got to make a our game border. This is going to be for a horizontal iPad overlay. So basically, when I'm streaming with my iPad, I have a program that allows me to like mirror my iPad to my computer. And sometimes there's applications, as you can see here, that's vertical. But if you turn it horizontal, it's going to turn horizontal, obviously, right? So this is going to be for the horizontal overlay. So what I'm going to do, guys, very simple. You don't have to make another box. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just click on webcam border, right-click, duplicate layer, and we'll call this game border. Very simple. Now I'm going to click on the move tool right up here, and we're just going to move it. It's literally a replica of what we've just made. Now what's really cool about this is it can stay in line. Photoshop's an awesome program where it'll literally stay in line. You can move it just very slightly down, or you can move it slightly up, but it'll pretty much always stay where you just got it. So I'm going to move it over just a tad. I'm just going to take my arrow keys and right about there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Control T, selecting the entire image. We're going to click on this aspect ratio button. It's going to keep the aspect ratio, and I'm just going to pull it down to something about there. Now, as we know, a horizontal image on an iPad isn't a square, it's more of a rectangle. So now I'm going to unclick this aspect ratio, and I'm just going to pull it over here like so. And boom, there you have it. Now, unfortunately, when you have a background such as this, it's a very nice background to look at, but when I'm telling my Twitch audience, when I'm doing overlays, it doesn't really matter what your background is because a lot of it's going to be cut out anyways. And the reason why is because we need to make a lot of stuff transparent on these images so that we can put our gameplay, or we can put our webcam, or we can put our social media in the background of the overlay. So that looks good. I'm going to click on enter. I'm going to click on our outlining tool. And then again, guys, you have to make sure you click on the image, which is down here called Space Picture 3. That's what we're going to be making transparent. So then we take our outlining tool, cover it over here like so. Click on Control X, or again, edit and cut. And there you have it. You get yourself a transparent image. Now, I don't put really much anything on here. No like Toronto Games logo underneath, nothing like that. That's what it is. And that's our game border. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on our webcam border once again, click on duplicate layer, and this is going to be our social media slideshow. This is where we're going to have our slideshow rolling. So we've copied it. It's right here. We're going to keep it in line. Alignment and symmetry is very important. It's a lot better on the eye. And I'm just going to scroll it down to the bottom here. And now we're going to Control T again to select the image. Now I'm not going to keep the aspect ratio because what I want to do is I just basically want to shrink it a little bit, like so. That's going to be our social media box. That's where all of our slideshows are going to happen. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Twitch, that kind of stuff. And then click on Enter, click on the outlining tool, select, click on our space picture, and then Control X, and there you have it. Very, very simple, guys. That's why I wanted to make a quick little video. I know we're about 15 minutes in on this video. Hopefully you guys have skipped ahead a little bit if you've known a little bit of what we've talked about, but it is very simple to do, guys. When I first started to try and learn overlays, I was like, oh God, I'm not an artist, I'm not a Photoshop guy, I'm not this, I'm not that. But then I learned that there's very few things you have to do to make a very nice looking overlay. So now what we're gonna do, guys, is put in some text. Now, if you look at my other overlays I've done here, such as this one, I have Toronto Games, like I just did, but I have this recent follower, today's top donator, today's donator, or top donator of all time, follower count, and follow train. So in my stream, when I'm streaming for you guys, if I go to League Game Lobby, you can see Sapero's the top donator. He donated $17. We've had 6 followers today, and every time someone follows, the count will go up. Follow train, so if someone follows me, the train will start, or the clock will start at 5 minutes and then work its way down back to 0. And then our recent follower name. Again, if you look at our Pokemon, it has the exact same thing. So go back to creative here. That's what we're gonna do with this. Now, the only thing I do differently here, guys, is I click on our text layer, which is this Toronto Games official layer here. Right click, duplicate layer, and we'll call this recent follower. And again, it's going to duplicate right where it is. So it's right here. It's not hiding anywhere. And then you just move it wherever you want it. And then you double click on the text box here, and it allows you to change the text. So we type recent follower, colon, I always put a colon, click on enter, and boom, you're done. That's it. Do that a couple more times. Click on duplicate layer. We'll call this follow count, or follower count. Yeah, is that right? Yeah, follower count. And then we'll click on it, keep it in line, double click on the text box, follower count, colon, enter, and there you have it. So I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to make a couple more of these, and we're going to show you guys what the finished product is going to look like. All right, guys, we are back, and there you have it, guys. Actually, I'm going to click on top donator of all time and just lower it down one step. There. So that is how I do my overlays. There's a lot of other overlays that you can do. There's a lot of other ways to do them. This is the method that I found very simple, very straightforward to do. Not a lot of work involved. I'm just going to move my webcam here for a second for you guys. And show you my layers. Now, if you scroll down here, you have layer 1. That's our transparent background. Then we have our space picture. That's the background that we've placed on top of it. So that's very, very cool. Now we've got our webcam border. We've got our social media slideshow, which is right here. We've got our game border, which is right here. Toronto Games official text, which is right here. And then our other text, which is recent follower right here, follower count right here, follow train right here, top donator right here, so on and so forth. And guys, it is very, very important. If any of you guys are programmers, or any of you guys are artists that use Photoshop or anything like that, you're working with big companies that you want to continue on and join a career with, it is very important to label, comment your code, label your art, that kind of stuff, because it just makes it more organized. And if somebody else had to work on your work while you were gone, or so to speak, and you had everything labeled as something bizarre, then they wouldn't be able to really understand what you were working on because everything's disorganized. So very, very important, guys. That's a key when you're doing any kind of work like this. Just make it organized. not for me, not for anyone else, just for yourself. Make it a little organized. But that's about it there, guys. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like on my stream. So give me 1 second while I set all that up, guys. Oh, and before I forget, guys, something you need to do, obviously is you got to save your work. There's 2 ways to save this thing. You go to File, Save As. First time you save it, it's going to save as a PSD file, which is the file that you can open up in Photoshop and edit all the stuff again. So it'll keep everything that you just made. So I have a folder in my Toronto Games Official called Overlay PSDs. So I'm going to call this Mobile H. The reason why I have brackets and H is it's a horizontal mobile overlay. My vertical one is going to be the exact same overlay, just with a vertical game border. So we're going to save it as Mobile H in our Overlay PSDs. And then the second way you need to save it is as a PSD file, or as a PNG file. So click on Format, go to PNG, and then go to where you would save it. Mine are in my overlays, and I just save it as Mobile H, and there you go. So again, we'll be right back. We're going to show you guys how this looks on our stream. Alright guys, we are back, and voila! This is what it looks like. This is what your overlay will look like when everything is said and done. Now again, I'm using my iPad. I can scroll everything. You can see it real time. It works. Now if I turned my iPad vertically, obviously it shows half the black screen. So that is why I did a horizontal overlay for my mobile platform. I put it back horizontally and it fits perfectly. And then we have our recent followers and all that. That's some documents that you can put together with some of the third-party applications you can get online for streaming. But that's it, guys. That's how you make an overlay. And it's pretty cool. I can go and click on, for example, Monster Park, which is a really fun game if you guys haven't played it. I used to play it religiously until I found out that every month they reset your guild rankings. And I was #1 guild. I was, oh my god. I was the #1 guild. I was the #1 in the game, and then it's very, very, very pay to win. Sorry about your ears, everybody. And yeah, it works very well. Everything looks perfect. So that is how you do it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you have any questions or you have any concerns about how to do an overlay, leave me a comment in the comment section below. If you like this video, let me know, because this is my first how-to video, and I think I really enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed making this video for you guys and kind of giving you guys a little bit of the knowledge that I have on how to do a certain amount of things. So yeah, that's about it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. We'll see you in our next episode, and as always, take care, everybody.